Oops. Did not do that, did I? Yes, I did. Okay. I think we're live now. Yes, we are. All right. Well, it is Friday, January 31st, 2025 at 5:12 p.m. Not too much to tell you all this time. I will give you a quick update on the Fallout 3 lore video that's coming along. I should have that out. I was hoping to have that out today. Unfortunately, it's taking a little bit longer than I expected. It's kind of because I ended up actually changing the topic slightly. So, if you're unaware, the very first version of the video was going to be covering simply Paradise Falls all by itself. Then I moved on to where I covered all the slavers. So the slavers at Paradise Falls and the slavers at the Lincoln Memorial, who are also part of the slavers of Paradise Falls. But again, I actually didn't know that originally when I was going into it. So learned that in the process. Next, I changed it to Slavery in the Capital Wasteland, which now covers the slavers and the abolitionists and the full storyline therein. So everything involved with helping the slavers at Paradise Falls, helping them at the Lincoln Memorial, helping the abolitionists at the Temple of the Union, helping the abolitionists to take the Lincoln Memorial from the slavers. So all that stuff's in there now. I have actually finished the script. I've recorded the audio. And I am actually working on editing the video together now. I do have to still capture some footage. There's a little bit additional stuff that I need. Some stuff in Point Lookout. And I actually had forgotten the fact that the town of Minefield was actually also originally... It's not even a town. It's a little suburb that was originally called Ridgefield, something like that. And it was actually taken by slavers. So I got to make sure I include that in the script as well. Basically, if you're not aware, what I do is I always try to write the script, and then based on what I remember and what I find in the game, and then after I do all that, I then check the wiki, and if there's anything that I missed, I go ahead and I make sure I find that stuff. I don't look at the wiki first because I want to make sure that I'm going into this with my own findings and don't end up basically clouding my own perceptions of it with things that other people have already found. So that's the thing, though, is that I'd forgotten that when you're doing Moira Brown's the survival guide, she has you go to Minefield. I remember that, but I'd forgotten that she says that it used to be a town called Ridgefield until it was taken by slavers. And that's the entire thing. It's literally just like a little clip from that quest that I got to go in and get. I definitely don't have that footage right now, so I got to get that. Again, I've also got to get footage of... I can't remember his name off the top of my head. A slaver that's down in... Point Lookout. I'd forgotten about him as well. So that's the main stuff I've got to do there. But along with that, again, it's just simply putting the video together. It ended up being 27 minutes long, and that still is not counting the additional stuff that I have to add for Ridgefield. So that'll probably add another, 15 seconds to it. Basically say that Rockopolis was not the only town that the slavers have completely depopulated. There was also Ridgefield as well. So I'll definitely have that thing done here in the next day or two. I would say at the absolute latest, it will be done by Monday, so February 3rd. Now, the next video is going to be something here in Fallout New Vegas, because February is going to be covering Fallout New Vegas. And I'm going to be doing 2 videos, and those videos, as to which ones they are, it's going to be entirely dependent on the outcome of the polls that I'm currently running. One on my Patreon site, and that one's for my members, and then the other one's also being run on the Discord. And so I'm trying to figure out something I'm going to do there, and because I would like to weight the votes of my patrons more than simply people that come by the Discord, because I absolutely do value you coming by and voting on this stuff on the Discord, but it's still the same thing where it's like my patrons are literally giving me money, so I should definitely be focusing more on the things that they choose rather than just, the average person that comes by. But at the same time, I absolutely do want to take your votes into account, so I'm thinking of some sort of weighted vote or something like that. But for the moment, I think there's a grand total of 9 votes on 4 options, and only one of those is up to 3. The other 3 options are at 2 votes each. So currently, unless something changes, unless I change how I'm weighting things, because let me just say the Discord poll came out 2 votes for... Vault 11, which is right through here, and 1 vote for Helios 1, which is right up there. Well, the Patreon poll came out 1 vote for Vault 111, 1 vote for Helios 1, and then 2 votes for what's it called? Junction 188 or whatever it's called, and then also 2 votes for Boulder City. So currently, if I don't do any waiting, Vault 111 is going to definitely be covered, while I'm going to be covering at least one of the other sites. I don't know which one yet. But again, I'm going to find some sort of waiting system, because I don't give anywhere near enough benefits to my patrons. If you're not aware, my patrons get a link to an ad-free version of the video. Basically, I've got an Amazon S3 web server that has all this stuff stored there, and I stream it to them if they use the link that I provide. And that way they don't have to watch a video with ads. But at the same time, I would like to provide more benefits. And so while I definitely want to take in the public's desires with the voting, I also would like to, again, make choosing the next lore video something that they have more of a say in as well. So anyway, it's going to be a question of figuring out the balance on that. So anyway, again, to recap everything here, Slavers video Monday at the latest, and not Slavery video Monday at the latest. And then along with that, 2 videos on Fallout New Vegas this next month. And again, it's kind of up in the air right now as to exactly what it's going to be covering. Vault 11 over there, which has that. If you're not aware, I'm not going to spoil anything on that. If you're not aware of what it is, just know that it's a fairly harrowing story about people voting on the Overseer. I'll just say that. And the people don't want to become the Overseer. I'll also just say that. Next, Helios 1, which was a Poseidon Energy project to both create a solar power plant, but also it has some secrets in store. And along with that, it has an amazing character. Trying to remember his name off the top of my head. Fantastic or something like that. Which honestly, I heard that Macaulay Culkin's going to be playing a role in the Fallout Season 2 TV show, Fallout TV show Season 2, and I would love it if he played that character. Then we've got the other 2 locations, which are definitely more simple, but they're also things that I've never fully investigated, to say the least, like Junction 188. And we can just walk up there right now. And yeah, it's literally right here. Now let's check this out. We've got an NCR flag there. Sorry, 188 trading post. Hey. We got Veronica. This is a companion, currently kind of like an outcast member of the Brotherhood of Steel here in the Mojave. Yeah, and then we got this trader here. And along with that, we've got some other folks hanging around here. And again, this is a site that I've never really fully investigated, and I'd like to know more about it.
Firearm around here. You'd be better off throwing rocks.
Where did that voice come from? I've only got my right headphone on, so. Hey, Captain Sugarfree, good to see you. Hope you had a good week. Is that you?
Hey.
No, that was not you. You've got a different voice. Somebody under the bridge, maybe? Yes. One of these 2, perhaps. Alexander and Gunrunner Guard. Alright, so it looks like the Gunrunners have an operation here. Again, I've been here to the 188 trading post many times before, but I've never really looked into anything here before. The Forecaster. Definitely looking forward to seeing exactly what's going on here. Now, along with that, there's Boulder City. And that would be effectively an extension of the main quest storyline. Which, if you haven't been following it, this person here. Hello. Ezekiel. Alright. But basically, if you haven't been following it, the very first video I did was on Good Springs. For New Vegas, I mean. It was Good Springs. Then I did a video on Prim. Yeah, New Vegas is great. Then I did a video on Nipton. Right there. Then I did a video on Searchlight. Then on Novak. So the next stop on the road here is Boulder City. Now, I've also did that shoot off to RepCon, and at some point I actually also need to cover Mojave Outpost, because that site deserves its own video as well. And technically speaking, Camp Searchlight isn't necessarily on your route. In fact, for a long time I never went to Camp Searchlight when I was going around to get to New Vegas, but anyway. So yeah, we can walk over towards Boulder City as well. I've been to Boulder City, well, twice technically speaking, at least that I remember. It's always one of those things where you never know where your parents might have taken you when you were a kid, before you can really remember things. It's entirely possible I went to the Hoover Dam at some point. I don't think I did, but went there with my then fiance, now wife, in July of 2017. we visited the Hoover Dam, and we actually went from L.A. We flew into L.A. We drove up to Vegas through the desert. It was actually a fairly long drive, and it went from day to night, and it's like amazingly dark out there once you really get into the desert because there's just no lights until you get towards Vegas. But anyway, the next day we drove through Boulder City up to the Grand Canyon. And so I've stopped at the McDonald's in Boulder City once to get breakfast. Yeah, we've got the monument here to the first Battle of Hoover Dam. And the city itself is in ruins because it was used as a trap by the Rangers during the first Battle of Hoover Dam to basically take care of the incoming Legion soldiers who were greater in number than the NCR could muster. It was such a disastrous defeat for the Legion that they ended up basically, what was it? The Burned Man became the Burned Man. Joshua Graham became the Burned Man after that defeat. Was thrown off the Hoover Dam, or no, thrown into the Grand Canyon. That's right. Yeah, Grand Canyon's this way. But yeah. So I'm not even sure exactly how much story there is to tell about Boulder City other than the story of the Hoover Dam itself. I will definitely have to look into this because that's the grand total of the exploration I've done here. Now, obviously, there is also the main storyline that runs through here, specifically with the Great Khans, who have been betrayed by Benny at this point. They were there as his hired muscle, and then he decided just not to pay them, and they ended up getting into a shootout with the NCR.
We've got a situation with some Great Khans right now. The brass at McCarran
Hey,
has
Goodman.
ordered me to lock down the ruins
Hope you've
until
had a
it's
good
been
Friday.
resolved.
What's going on with the Great Khans?
One of my patrols was on its way back from Novak when it came under fire from the Great Khans. They radioed for reinforcements, but instead of waiting for us, they chased the Khans into the ruins where they were caught in a crossfire. No deaths, but not all the squad got out. The Khans have Private Ackerman and Private Gilbert as hostages.
The Great Khans might have something in mind. A platinum chip.
Once the Great Khans have been killed or captured, you're welcome to retrieve any property they've taken from you.
I might be able to negotiate with the Great Khans.
Normally I'd turn you down since I have no idea who you are. But considering that the hostages are as good as dead when we attack... Alright. I'm going to give you a chance to talk to the Great Khans. Their leader is a man named Jessup. If we hear shooting, we'll be coming in. But it'll probably be too late for you.
I understand.
Good luck.
Hope you had a great week too, Goodman. Alright, yeah, I've got Raoul the Ghoul here. I'm trying to remember why I've got him with me. I feel like I was doing something... What the hell was that for? I don't even remember off the top of my head anymore. Weather here has been... actually nice. I'm one of those people that prefers rain. I prefer thunderstorms. I prefer cold weather. It's been like a nice 60-something degrees and fairly sunny. It has rained a little bit now and then, but it has been nice. I know that a lot of the country is experiencing the kind of weather I prefer more, but here in Central Texas, it's not a bad time, weather-wise. Where is Jessup? Is he up here, maybe? Nope. Is that him? Nope.
What the hell? You're that courier Benny wasted back in Good Springs. You're supposed to be dead.
Well, I'm not, and I believe you have something in mind.
Yeah, about that.
Where is the platinum chip?
Don't have it. Benny stole it right before he stabbed us in the back. He's probably back at the strip by now, laughing at me.
Well, let's talk about settling things between you and the NCR.
What's to negotiate? The NCR backs off, we walk out of here, nobody gets hurt.
Ooh, speech 40. Oh, that's right. I've been playing Fallout 3 so much over the past few days that I'm looking at things like the percentages like they've got in Fallout 3, and right now I was reading that as speech percentage chance of 45. I don't know if this character has speech 45. I assume they do, because otherwise it shows it in red, right? Free the hostages now, and I'll have the NCR escort you out of their territory.
I can't believe I'm doing this. But alright, the hostages can go. The NCR had better keep their end of the deal, though. Here, a souvenir for you. It's Benny's lighter. Shove it up his ass when you catch up with him.
Man, rain and then temps are gonna drop down to the teens. Jeez. I want some more answers.
Yeah? On what?
What can you tell me about Benny?
He's one of the chairmen, big shots that run the Tops Casino in New Vegas. A friend from the city contacted me with info on a big job. I should have known that the caps were too good to be true, but there was still no way I could pass up the chance.
What did you know about the platinum chip?
It's just a big fancy poker chip as far as I know. Don't know why anyone would make one out of platinum, though.
So Benny didn't bother to tell them what it was. Makes sense, honestly, because if they'd known it wasn't just something made out of platinum, like platinum's obviously valuable, but what the platinum chip is significantly more valuable. Why did Benny betray you?
He's a snake, that's why. He owed us the rest of the pay for the job, so maybe he didn't want to pay up.
Never mind, let's talk about something else.
Fine.
Was that all that he had available there?
Yeah? On what?
Okay. That's it.
Fine. Yeah, go on.
Alright, now we tell the NCR to go in guns blazing. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be pretty screwed up. A lot of troopers here. Like, actually not a lot, but you don't actually see that many troopers, so seeing even that many is a lot.
I'm glad you're able to get my people freed, but there's a new problem. I just got orders to take out the Great Khans, hostages or
What?
not.
The Great Khans let the hostages go in exchange for their freedom.
My hands are tied. I can't go against orders, can I?
If you have any integrity, you'll honor your deal.
You're right. The Great Khans are free to go.
Alright. Both the Great Khans and the NCR like me more. And that was Boulder City Showdown. So it seems like the bare minimum there to get the good deal is to have a speech skill of at least 45. I think I cheated this character's skills up in order to be able to film some videos. Because, I mean, level 13's not bad, but it's also not terribly high, so... Yeah, that was an easy way to make him change his sword. You'd normally think that most soldiers would be like, oh no, I'm going to stick to the orders I've been given. But no, he's fully on board with that. Which, you would hope that there would be some that would be like that. When it's like obvious that doing other than that would be just like you dishonoring yourself. We got the Bighorn Saloon here. Let's take a look in here. You know, I've literally never been in this building before. This game's been out since 2010. Or is it 2011? I can't remember off the top of my head. Boulder City Worker. Looks like they're couriers almost. Yeah, probably a court-martial in his future. So if anyone finds out, you do have to wonder exactly how stringent the paperwork on this kind of stuff is, how much people are really paying attention to that kind of stuff.
You sure
Got
you're in
Ike.
the right place? A customer. Not many people come into Boulder City these days.
Let's see here. Tell me about Boulder City.
Most of the town is rubble, destroyed during the Battle of Hoover Dam. And the only other thing around here is the concrete mixing yard.
What's the concrete used for?
The NCR has been constructing bunkers up and down the river. From what I've heard, it's a little late for that.
Where have
Travelers
they been
over at the
building them?
188, just up the road, said that the Legion has overrun a couple of towns to the south.
Where does the concrete come from? Sloan, right?
Most of the limestone comes from Quarry Junction out west. The supply had stopped for a while because of a Deathclaw problem. I heard some badass wastelander
yeah,
killed the
I knew that.
Deathclaws, and deliveries of limestone have been coming in again. I don't think they've gotten the trains up and running yet, but most of the concrete plant workers have come back to town now. Good for business.
Great, so now I'm going to have to film both versions of that. The one where you haven't killed the Deathclaws and the one where you have.
What can I get you?
Let's see here. Anything unique? No. It's just all food. All right.
Come back real soon.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody walking around that concrete plant.
Fancy meeting
geez,
you
Louise.
here, friend.
Did you see Benny come this way?
Fancy pants? No, I ain't seen hide and hair of him since the tussle in Good Springs. I'm sure he ran back to the soft living of New Vegas, though.
How'd you get here?
Just rolling along on my spurs. Looks like I just might make it to New Vegas after all.
You see what happened in there?
Yep. Guess it's just down to you and Fancy Pants. I wouldn't worry about him. He looks all hat and no cattle, if you ask me.
It's good to see you again, Victor.
Yep. But this is getting mighty embarrassing. People gonna start to talk.
All right. Goodbye.
Look me up when you get to New Vegas. I'll buy the first round.
I think the only reason he's so close is because we literally just came out and he was just talking to us. Private Kowalski. He talks about his brother dying here, I believe.
You here to pay your respects too?
Where are you normally stationed?
Camp McCarran, but I'm on leave at the moment, heading back to California to see my folks. I'm supposed to join up with a caravan that's heading that way up at the 188,
Man.
but they're not due to arrive for a while yet.
That's crazy to consider. Like, he's on leave to go basically walk back to California. How long is this leave they get? Anyway, what is this memorial?
It commemorates the Battle of Hoover Dam. The Rangers lured the best of Caesar's Legion into Boulder City, then blew the whole town up. The NCR still lost a bunch of troops in the fighting, though. My older brother sacrificed himself so they could evacuate some of the wounded.
Sorry to hear that.
Don't worry about it.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I think he gets mad if you shoot at the memorial. I feel like I remember that being the case. Yep.
What the fuck are you doing? My brother died at the Battle of Hoover Dam. You're desecrating a war memorial.
My apologies. That was rude and disrespectful of me. It was rude and disrespectful of me to do that.
All right, apology accepted. Don't let it happen again.
Well, hell, that's a way to get 30
Bye.
XP. Shoot at a memorial, and so long as you got 30 speech skill, you get that extra XP there. Alright. So, yeah. Honestly, I don't know that there's enough here to warrant a usual sized video. I wonder if I just need to do... if the video needs to basically include everything about the first battle of the Hoover Dam. Because at the end of the day, yeah, this is the concrete plant, by the way, I believe. Which, yeah, this is not... I live like 5 miles from a concrete plant. They have... Oh. They have it's a full-sized quarry. And they basically have trains that bring in loads of coal because they have to, like, cook the stuff. They have to cook limestone in order to turn it into concrete. Well, specifically, they're turning it into cement, which they then mix with stone to make concrete. If you're not aware, concrete is a combination of cement, sand, and gravel. The con means with, and crete means stone. Yeah, so... But that is definitely not a concrete plant. But he also said that they're building bunkers up and down the river, but I can't remember a spot where I've seen that they've built something that looked like it needed concrete. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with Vegas in the show, because there was definitely a downed vertibird in the streets of Vegas. I don't know what's exactly gonna happen there. Where is Camp Forlorn Hope's down here somewhere, right? Let's go take a look at that. That would be one of their bunkers along the river, right? I think that is that. Maybe that's Camp Forlorn Hope right there. That tower right there. I do have God mode on right now, by the way. Otherwise, I would not even consider approaching these things with just a pistol, even if it is a plasma pistol. And even if these are just young Cazadors. And the reason I have God mode on right now isn't actually to not die. It's specifically because I'm currently over encumbered. Let's see exactly by how much. 15 pounds, but still. Oh, more Cazadors. The wonderful offspring of Big Mountain. I really actually hope that Raul makes an appearance in the show. We get Raul Tejada. What? Oh, that was just the sound of the poison. Danny Trejo's great. I love seeing his tweets every Tuesday about Taco Tuesday. He owns a taco place, I guess. But yeah, I would love to see him in the Fallout TV show. Let's see. What is this spot here? Ranger Station Delta. Trying to remember where Camp Forlorn Hope is. It's one of those things where it's like I never find it unless I need to go there. It's one of those things where I've cleared like all the issues with Camp Forlorn Hope like 4 times, but I can never really point it out on a map. I think it's down here. If you haven't, I've got this weird thing going on right now where I've got half my screen covered because Microsoft decided that they needed to show me the news. I don't really know why. But if you can see, I've changed the stuff on the background. And in my background, I mean, I've got my Vault-Tec flag moved to that corner. And then I got a couple of disc plates. One of them being the Brother to Steel soldier in the power armor, standing in front of the Washington Monument. Thought that one was pretty neat. And then I got the other one was Commander Shepard. It's definitely one of those things where if you were to like want to live in a sci-fi universe, like the Mass Effect universe would be like the one to live in. Of course, this is either like post the destruction of the Reapers or significantly before they arrive, something like that. Sometime in between cycles. I mean, here we go. Camp Forlorn Hope. Where is this exactly? Okay. I knew it was somewhere near the abandoned BOS bunker, but anyway.
Watch out!
Ooh, what are you shooting at? No idea. Anyway, yeah, none of this looks to me like something where they'd use concrete. Yeah, I do wonder what they're going to do with House in the show. They've already shown him in the Legion of Doom meeting at Vault-Tec HQ. So they do already have an actor for that character. You gotta wonder if he's gonna still be around. It feels like they're gonna end up having to give us some sort of canonical outcome to Fallout New Vegas. I don't know how else they do it, right? If they're gonna be in New Vegas, and we're talking about... What is it now? It's 2297? I think, in the show? 2296, 2297. So we're talking about 15 years after the events of the game. So there's gonna have to be a canonical outcome. But yeah, the other spots along the river are things like the Ranger Station Delta, Ranger Station Echo. None of these spots look to me like a spot where you'd use concrete. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go up to Camp McCarran. It's right up here near the Sharecropper Farms. This character I've used to film things, so he's got some weird spots that he's been. Like, got up to North Vegas... Cut out to Raul's shack, that's why I have Raul. I cleared up a bunch of stuff over here. But there's just a whole bunch of stuff where I have also not been. There it is, that's Camp McCarran. I sometimes forget that you can actually see the outlines of things on the map that are large enough. Ooh. If these walls, I mean, didn't look so beat up, I would maybe consider this to be something that they had used their concrete to build. But yeah, these things look old, which it is a question of why it would look like this. I've again, like I said earlier, I've not flown into Vegas. I've flown to LA, but I can't imagine why you would have a concrete wall surrounding an airport. I don't know if you all remember that that crash that happened earlier this month in South Korea, I think it was, where the plane overshot the runway and slammed into a concrete wall in the end. And like, there's this whole big review going on right now where it's like, why was this concrete wall there? I've not been to Reno. Is Reno nice? It's up near Lake Tahoe, I believe, so it's kind of a nice area. But yeah, they definitely have not used the concrete here. They definitely didn't use the concrete around the strip. Okay, yeah. They used a whole bunch of old billboards, which I do have to wonder exactly where they got all of these, because you can still typically find most of the billboards up and down the highways. But it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to begrudge them this, because it looks neat. It smells like marijuana and cigarettes in here. Okay. Was that... Is that... Are you saying where you are, or what? Anyway, though, yeah, we've gotten way off course here. So yeah, I actually want to take a look. That just shows you the fact that I've been using this character to shoot footage, because I've been to Quarry Junction, but I've not been to Sloan. Let's see. Oh, yeah, no, dead. I saw the death claws moving a little bit and thought they were still alive for a second, which was kind of terrifying. I'm going to wait till day, and we're going to see... Okay. It's entirely possible I've been to Sloan, but you don't get... Unless you get that close, it doesn't count. Let's talk to the foreman here.
You need something?
Chomps Lewis. Okay, yeah, I've already talked to him before. So yeah, I have been here. I'm going to see what happens when we wait a few hours, see if people actually go to work. There's Snuffles. Your leg appears to be injured. I can use medicine to clean the wound with antibiotics and expertly bind Snuffles' injured leg. How's it going? Yeah, if you're not aware, one of the memes that people post about Fallout New Vegas is the fact that Snuffles here, this mole rat, has a higher intelligence level than Caesar. I think Snuffles is like 5 or something like that, while Caesar's is 4. I can't remember exactly, but it's something like that. Chomps Lewis is Samuel Gompers. God, whenever I hear the sound of my footsteps and Raoul's, I feel like something's chasing me. Especially because, again, I've been playing Fallout 3 for a while, and I typically don't use companions in Fallout 3 just because they can actually die. That was definitely a major improvement, was getting companions where they just get knocked out. Because it was to the point where I didn't actually like to use companions, especially not dog meat, because they could literally just die in combat. Fallout 3 is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that in terms of companions, I didn't use them specifically because I was worried about them dying. So, again, potentially Trading Post 188, Trading Post, potentially Boulder City, potentially Helios 1. And potentially Vault 111. Or sorry, Vault 11, not 111. I've already covered 111. Again, according to the current polling, it's going to be Vault 11 and something else. As to what the other thing is, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, the Slavers video is actually getting... Or again, Slavery video has been pretty interesting. It's one of my longer ones. Definitely not nowhere near an hour. Like I said, it's 27 minutes, but that's longer than the ones I've been putting out lately. So, yeah. I don't know. I think I've got too much more to say at the moment. Because basically it's like I'm telling you what I got going on ahead and that I've got work to do. Anybody have any questions or any comments or anything? Ooh, caravan here. Murdered by fire ants. Kinda wonder how these fire ants got out here. I wonder if they're related to the ones in Greatwich. Yeah, I did film, by the way, the footage of selling Brian Wilkes into slavery. Didn't feel good about that. I still have not done the new raid. I still haven't. I need to. I got my wife Fallout 76. It's just, I gotta actually get into doing that. It's one of those things where I've been so focused on doing the other lore videos on other Fallout games that I've not had the time for that. Because it's one of those things where it's like, it's gonna not just be me opening up 76 on my computer. I've also gotta open it up on her computer, and she's got like a brand new character on there, so I'm gonna have to make sure I do it on my Fallout world. I'm gonna have to get her in there, get her down there. Of course, that shouldn't actually be that big a deal, because in my Fallout world, I've got it to where every map location is something that's already known. So, but at the same time, either I'm going to have her help me with it, or I'm going to have to control both the computers simultaneously. Get her character in there, and my character in there, and when one of them is taking gunfire, have the other one shoot. Which means that I will definitely have to make sure that her character has a gun adequate to shoot that sentry bot. Which, if you're not aware, will turn to face you. If you have only one character in there, there's no way you can shoot him in the back. So, at least that's been my experience on 2 separate occasions. Because I figured maybe there was just something going on that time I was streaming it. To get past the mole miners, you're going to need more than 2 people. Okay. Well, and Malcontent on the Discord, and the guy who has looked over the videos the scripts, he suggested that he could help. So I might actually need to set up something with the Discord where we go in and play together. Get past the robot. Okay. Need more than 2 people to get past the robot. Okay. Interesting. Well, as we get closer to... When am I covering 76? April? What I'll probably end up doing is setting up a couple of dates on which members of the Discord...
This is a restricted area. State your business.
I'm with the NCR. Anything I can do to help?
Your being here is a start, soldier. We aren't exactly overflowing with troopers here. But if you really want to help us, talk to the idiot with sunglasses in the back of the plant building. He's been trying to get this place running for months and hasn't made any forward progress.
Okay. Need more people to get past the mole miners. So yeah, probably what I'll end up doing is, yes, I donated... Oh yeah, I should have mentioned that. He's actually out of the hospital now. Wes Johnson. So Wes Johnson, if you're not aware, is a voice actor. He's also done some acting, live action. He's also the announcer for the Washington Capitals, I think is the hockey team in DC. And if you're not aware of his work for the Elder Scrolls games and the Fallout games, in Elder Scrolls, in Oblivion at the very least, his most famous role there easily has to be the city guards, who are always doing like a halt in the name of the law and stuff like that, and all that kind of stuff. If you play Fallout 3, he's Mr. Burke. He also does some of the robot voices, the Protectrons, and stuff like that. Oh yeah, you have a good weekend, Goodman. But yeah, what was it? Yeah, so Wes Johnson, he had some sort of medical emergency about a week ago at this point, I think, to where he was supposed to be speaking at some sort of Alzheimer's convention or something like that. And don't quote me on any specifics here on this, but his wife couldn't get a hold of him, so she called the hotel, and they ended up finding him basically near death on the floor of his hotel room. They rushed him to the hospital, and luckily he came through that. He was in the ICU for a few days, and I just saw this afternoon a tweet that he is on his way home. So he's, at the very least, he's leaving the hospital. So there was a GoFundMe set up for him. One of the owner of the hockey team, I believe, donated $25,000, which is amazing. It was originally, the goal for it was $50,000, basically just for hospital expenses and for, the time Wes would be out of work and can't be supporting the family. So I donated $50 to that. I hope you all, anybody who saw it, did. I'd love to have been able to donate more, but I don't have like endless money to put out for that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I wish him a speedy recovery. Great guy, excellent voices, iconic voices like Ron Hope in Starfield. Excellent guy. Anyway, shouldn't there be more people defending this power plant?
There should, but we're not getting much power out of it, so none of our enemies have big interest in it either. Not like Hoover Dam, anyway. We had a real fighting force here just long enough to take it from the Brotherhood of Steel. Then they got sent east to the dam like everybody else. Caesar's Legion sends skirmishers every so often, prodding for weaknesses mostly. The reality is, if they really wanted it, we'd all be dead.
Why was the Brotherhood of Steel here?
Damned if I know. Put up a hell of a fight, though. We had them outnumbered, I don't know, 20 to 1 maybe? They held out as long as they could, lost most of their force before they retreated. Gave us a little parting gift, too. They had some of the plant running, but they shut it all down. Enabled an old security system, too, to keep us away from the controls. Jerk-offs.
Why are you here and not on the front lines? Isn't that more important?
I ask myself the same question all the time. But energy is hard to come by around here. Gives you more control over this area than troops ever could. Hell, if we lose the dam to the Legion, this little plant may be our last stand.
Alright, so real quick here. I'm not sure exactly. And it does not help that I can't see my own screen here. 1 second. Freaking Microsoft. Oh, come on, go away. There we go. Now I can see my own screen again. Alright. So, I should get a system where I can actually put these things up on the screen. But let's see if I can see what I'm doing here. It's going to take a second for it to update on my screen. Well, I don't know. Regardless, there's... Yeah, I can't really see it all that well. He is leaving the hospital now. And then there's actually another shot of him here where he says, "Farewell to Atlanta." So, he is out of the hospital and seems to be on his way home, which is excellent news because, like, seriously, I, for a couple of days there, was worried because, like, you find somebody passed out on the hotel floor room with, like, barely any pulse and they're rushed to the hospital, and then they're in the ICU for multiple days. Like,
Later.
I was worried there's going to be some sort of update where he's passed, you know, like, and he's been such an excellent voice actor over the years, and he's just a great guy, and, like, I would be horrible. I've actually been considering taking his, he does a voice acting course, and more so, my reason for taking it is I'd like to be able to read my scripts better, because I spend an enormous amount of time reading them, and then I never feel that I really get the scripts out all that well. So I'd love to actually get some professional training on doing that properly. And actually, I was actually checking in on that stuff. That is fantastic, by the way. This is the guy that I'm hoping that Macaulay Culkin is playing in the second season of the Fallout TV show. Anyway, though, he was actually he had a new course in he does these courses in voice acting periodically, and there was another one that was actually going to start on, like, the day that the news came out that he was in the hospital. So yeah, there's the tower up there with all these solar cells around it. Now, keep in mind, this is actually kind of a combination of a couple different power plants in real life. Because basically, and I've talked about this in some of my video scripts before for Goodsprings, Prim, and stuff like that. This is a combination, and actually Novak as well. Because if we take a look at the map. Alright, so the real world power plants are down here on the dry lake bed of Lake Ivanpah. Or Ivanpah, I can never remember the proper pronunciation of it. Yeah. And so there's a solar power plant there that actually is just like a big boiling tower at the top, and it doesn't use solar panels. It uses reflective mirrors that focus the light on the tower, boiling the water in it so it makes steam to turn turbines. Then there are actually also solar power plants here on the El Dorado dry lake bed, and these ones use they're just actual normal solar power plants. So yeah, there's this kind of stuff here where you go around. This is one of the things I loved about Fallout New Vegas when I first played it, is the fact that you can go around and take these, like, old array parts and fix broken arrays and stuff like that. And there's all kinds of stuff like that all across the board where you're effectively, like, improving sites all the time. There was very little of that really in Fallout 3. And I think it's because, I mean, it was the first 3D Fallout game, and I think they were kind of just, like, feeling their way into it. Obviously, we're talking two different dev teams. It was Bethesda for Fallout 3 and Obsidian for Fallout New Vegas. But the fact, like, so in Fallout 3, the main change that I remember in my head is things like restoring the Lincoln Memorial. And it's not like you're even the one actually doing that. you're simply providing Caleb with the plans to be able to do that. Then there's also things like when the Enclave takes over the Jefferson Memorial. We can salvage more parts here. Okay. And that when the Enclave takes over the Jefferson Memorial, they end up putting up barriers around it and stuff like that. And when I was just something off topic there slightly, when I was getting ready to, who sleeps outside like this in the Mojave? That just seems like a bad idea. Anyway, when I was writing the script, I was like about to put in something like, all right, there's spoilers in here for this. And it's like, what? It's a 17-year-old game almost. There's no reason to warn people about spoilers. That's not something you do anymore. That's like trying to like warn people about spoilers for The Sixth Sense. You don't do that. It's out there. It's been done. I can't remember if there's like specific arrays you're supposed to be fixing with these things, or if you have to actually get a question specifically to fix those specific arrays, but I do remember salvaging these parts. And then there's the stuff you do for the boomers up at, what's it called? The airbase. Based on a real one. Man, why can't I remember the name of it? Nellis. Nellis Air Force Base. Yeah, I think they actually tell you the specific ones you're supposed to repair. If I'm remembering correctly, I don't know. Part of that is me guessing at it, because again, it's been a while since I have done this. I just remember collecting all those parts and going to fix some of the damaged arrays. Anyway, though, so yeah, we're looking at Vault 11, Helios 1, Junction 188, or sorry, Trading 188 Trading Post, or Boulder City. And with Boulder City, because of the lack of content there, I would probably need to use that as an opportunity to talk about the first Battle of Hoover Dam, which I've mentioned in previous videos, but I'd go into more detail there. Specifically, like the Legion side of the things that happened there with Joshua Graham being covered in pitch, lit on fire, and thrown into the Grand Canyon after his failure to win the victory there. So, yeah, that's probably what'll happen if I end up doing Junction 188. Now, again, I still need to finish the slavery in the Capital Wasteland video. We're looking at that being done, like I said, by Monday at the latest. So I'm not going to close the polls until then. So if you have an interest in voting on a specific Fallout New Vegas lore video that you want to see out of those four, again, Vault 11, Helios 1, 188 Trading Post, and Boulder City, you can go ahead and vote on those within the next lore video poll within the Discord. So, but I think I'm going to close things out here. I know I did start a little late, but I feel like I've talked about everything I need to talk about at the moment. Because it's one of those things where I'm now 95% of the way through a project, and it's just a question of getting that last 5% out. And until I have actually an idea of exactly what I'm going to be covering next, I don't know specifically what to talk about that topic. So I hope you all had a good week. I hope you all have a good weekend, and I will see you all next Friday. So